Minneapolis will pay George Floyd's estate $27 million after city council votes to settle lawsuit with family. And this is going to be a doozy. But they decided to settle with them for $27 million based on what happened with the George Floyd case. I'm assuming that if you're watching this, you've already seen the video, so I don't think we need to go over it. I feel so bad for that man's family, man. Like, to watch that man die on camera and to have him beg for his mother, that's just, you have people out there who try to justify nonsense, try to justify horrible things happening to people, by saying, well, he had a past, he had this, he had drug. It's like, have you no empathy? Have you no empathy at all? The city of Minneapolis will pay the estate of George Floyd $27 million after the city council on Friday unanimously voted to settle a lawsuit with his family. George Floyd's brother, Phineas Floyd, said that he would return the settlement millions if it meant he could see his brother again. And, some people out there are going to say, oh, sure, you say that. Oh, that's not true. You don't know. If they were really close, there's a lot of brothers out there that would do that. I have an older brother who's a high school principal who did some horrible things to me as a kid. I wish that he would die, but I have a middle brother named Quincy. Quincy, he was there for me when I needed him. I mean, we didn't always have the best relationship, but I love Quincy, and I would gladly give up millions if it means that Quincy gets to live forever, man. Because people like that deserve it. People that have been through a lot but are still here, they deserve that. And I think that when people out there are going to automatically say, I think he's lying, he would get back all the millions. I think that's just so cruel. That's so horrible. And I feel for this man's family, man. Like, it's kind of bittersweet, watching your loved one change the world, watching your loved one force people in this country who deny realities, forcing them to see things that they either refuse to see or just too oblivious to notice. But at the same time, though, the cost of that change is your loved one's gone. So it's kind of like a tightrope walk. I mean, you of course don't want to praise the death of your loved one, but at the same time you want the change. And I wish that people out there would have allowed change to happen without there being a bunch of violence or someone suffering, someone begging for their mother to just see that change. Why couldn't we just admit to simple realities without this having to happen? Why do we need lawsuits? Why do we need riots? Why do we need protests? To just acknowledge simple realities. And man, that video was just insane. To this day, I cannot watch that video again. I can't watch a man beg for his mother. I can't. Like that's I don't think some people out there, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it, call me racist. Some white people out there don't seem to understand the impact that has for us. In the black community, when you have somebody who's dying or has been shot or just generally is gonna just pass away, the first person that they beg for is their mother. And I understand that different people do the exact same thing, but for us, that's something that when we heard that, it that's what struck me. I knew what I was watching was definitely wrong. But when a man started begging for his mother and they still didn't stop, no. That's when you lost me from the start, but that's when you definitely lost me. And then to hear people justify that, that's why people out there who says, there's context, there's nuance. I don't want to talk to you. I thank the state of Minnesota for getting the settlement taken care of, he said. But even though my brother is not here, he's here with me in my heart, because if I can get him back, I will give I will give all of this back. I know that he's with us, and he's standing up right now, knowing that we have the opportunity to be able to fund low income African American communities. Wow. So that's what they're gonna do with the money. That's I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's take that money and let's try to help people. You know, that's the one thing about the Floyd family. They've been doing that. They've been giving all kind of money, and they've been just putting it back into the community. Because when you listen to these people talk, they're not greedy or bad people. I'm so happy that these people are thinking about the bigger picture. Floyd took a moment at a news conference where he was joined by family members, his legal team, and Mayor Jacob Frey to thank the protesters who support the family, especially during the height of the pandemic this past summer. He also called for peace. So one thing that the world needs to know, America, we need to heal. This nation needs healing. Our family needs healing, the emotional Floyd said. The police killed his brother, and he's still saying, let's be peaceful. The world needs healing. That's how you know these are good people. You know, I mean, I don't know if I could say that. You kill a brother that I actually like. You kill a brother that I actually like. I'm going to have an issue with it. I'm going to raise some hell. I'm going to say something about it. And I'm probably not going to be calling for peace. You know, I'm probably not going to be calling for peaceful exchanges. You know, I'm probably not going to be saying, hey, you know, I'm probably not going to be worried about the country healing. In fact, I would probably say the country needs to goddamn burn. And I'm glad that someone like George Floyd's brother is up there and not me. Because I always spoke the goddamn truth. George Floyd's sister, Bridgette Floyd, said in a statement, while we will never get our beloved George back, we will continue to work tirelessly to make this world a better and safer place for all. She said the foundation she started in her brother's name will honor the legacy as a community-minded volunteer. The news comes as jury selection is underway for the trial of Derek Chauvin, a former Minneapolis police officer accused of killing a 46-year-old black man in May 2020 by kneeling on his neck for almost 8 minutes. Floyd's final moments, recorded on video, led to widespread protests against police brutality and racism under the Black Lives Matter banner, as well as incidents of unrest and looting. Chauvin has pleaded not guilty to second-degree unintentional murder and second-degree manslaughter charges. He's also pleaded not guilty to third-degree murder, which was reinstated in the case on Thursday. In July, Floyd's family had filed the federal civil rights lawsuit against the city of Minneapolis and the 4 former officers involved in his death. A lawsuit said the city fostered a culture of excessive force and impunity within the police force and failed to terminate dangerous officers. Frey told the reporters the settlement reflects a commitment shared by Floyd's family towards racial justice and social progress. We need to be unrelenting, he said. We need to be unapologetic in our pursuit of a more equitable local government and a more just approach to community safety in our city, and we will be. Minneapolis City Council President Lisa Bender offered her deepest condolences to Floyd's family, friends, and the community. No amount of money can ever address the intense pain or trauma caused by the death of George Floyd's family or to the people of our city, she said. Minneapolis has been fundamentally changed by this time of racial reckoning, and this city council is united in working together with our community and the Floyd family to equitably reshape our city of Minneapolis. It is nice to see that the city and the family are coming together and instead of fighting, because it's too easy to fight, right? It's too easy to fight. Instead of fighting, they came together and they're trying to change their city for the best. I mean, what conclusion could be better than this? What conclusion could be better than this? Family applauds police reform. At a news conference announcing the settlement, Ben Crump, of Floyd's family attorney, lauded the city for changes to the police department. The settlement is not just historic because of the $27 million paid out, but for the impact on social justice policy reforms and police reforms, he said, because the financial compensation most directly impacts George Floyd and his family, the future of his family. But it is the policy reforms that affect all of us. Days after Floyd's death, the Minneapolis City Council voted to ban chokeholds, requiring other officers to report officers that they see using chokeholds. So again, there's no excuse. If you see that and you don't say anything, you are guilty. And to intervene in such cases. At that time, the mayor vowed to help change the way the city's police department operates, saying, now we can finally get this right. And in July, the mayor and police chief, I'm not going to even try that freaking name, announced changes to the department's use of force reporting requirements that place a stronger emphasis on de-escalation. The agency is scheduled to see funding cuts after a December in which the city council voted to redirect $7.7 million from the police budget to other programs, according to a news release. The plan funds mental health programs, directs funding towards increasing capacity within the Civil Rights Department's Office of Police Conduct Review to investigate complaints about police officer behavior, and redirects some non-emergency calls to other departments. Wow. So again, it is just amazing. It's sad that he had to die for us to see all this, but we're seeing changes that how could you not agree with the changes, right? You're talking about banning chokeholds. Do you think officers should be using chokeholds? No. Do you think that if an officer chokes someone when it's against the law and they see it and they say nothing, should that officer face some kind of punishment? Of course they should. Right? And they put an emphasis on de-escalation. Who is against that? Who is against de-escalating? I remember I saw a bunch of right-wing shitheads. Fuck you people. If you're a Republican on a fucking right, fuck you. I saw them sitting there arguing against it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who argues against this? You have a freaking department, a civil rights department that investigates police conducts and redirecting non-emergency calls to other departments. Non-emergency, meaning there's no fucking emergency. There's no reason for a man with a gun to fucking show up. Who is against this? Mental health programs. Who is against mental health programs? Wow. Another police shooting resulted in a large settlement. In 2019, the city announced a $20 million settlement following the death of Justine Ruziak 2 years earlier. Ruziak, 40, had called 911 to report a possible assault in the alley behind her home. She was shot by former Minneapolis police officer Mohammed Noor, who was reporting to her call with his partner. Ruziak's 2017 death drew widespread attention in the U.S. and in her native Australia. She had moved to Minneapolis to be with her fiancé and was killed a month before her wedding. Noor was convicted of third-degree murder and manslaughter and was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. He's appealing the sentence. Wow. A month before your wedding. And you did. Wow. And there's people out there who's arguing against reforms. If you're against this shit, I want you to know I don't want to talk to you. I don't want you to subscribe to the channel. I don't want you to watch any of my videos. I want you to go the fucking way. If you are against any of the fucking reforms, you are a bad person. I'm going to repeat that. Yes, I'm going to assert that you are a bad person. At that point, you are a bad person. There's no other way to go about that or to even say about that. You are a bad person if you are against any of the fucking reforms. You are a piece of fucking shit and should be treated as such.